curious minds, welcome to ProjexCellence ProDigy, my YouTube channel focused on continuous learning and growth in the field of project management. I am Govind, a PMP certified project manager with more than 15 years of experience managing power plant projects. In today's episode, we are going to discuss various terms as project management process groups, which are 5 in total, 10 project management knowledge areas, and 49 project management processes. Before we explore these terms in detail and discuss their interrelationships, first we should know where they come from. It's important to understand their origins. These terms are defined and formalized by the Project Management Institute, PMI, in their guide, which is called PMBOK, Project Management Body of Knowledge. PMI is a global non-profit professional organization for project management professionals that provides resources, tools, and certifications to help improve project management practices. PMI is based in the United States with its headquarters located in Newtown Square, Pennsylvania. The Project Management Professional PMP certification is one of the most recognized and respected project management certifications globally, offered by PMI. The PMI certification signifies that an individual has the experience, education, and competency to lead any direct projects. The Project Management Body of Knowledge, PMBOK, is set of standard terminology, guidelines, and practices for project management. It is published by PMI. PMBOK guide outlines the processes, best practices, terminologies, and guidelines that are accepted as standards within the project management profession. PMBOK guide is updated regularly to reflect the evolving practices and methodologies in the field of project management. The latest edition is PMBOK 7. Let's go through the PMBOK evolution history quickly. In 1987, the Project Management Body of Knowledge, PMBOK, was first published as a white paper by the PMI. In 1996, the first edition of the PMBOK guide was published, which included 5 process groups and 9 knowledge areas. In 2000, the second edition of the PMBOK guide was published, which included 5 process groups and 9 knowledge areas with an emphasis on project integration management. In 2004, the third edition of the PMBOK guide was published, which included 5 process groups and 9 knowledge areas with an emphasis on project lifecycle and project management processes. In 2008, the fourth edition of the PMBOK guide was published, which included 5 process groups and 9 knowledge areas with an emphasis on project management processes and their interactions. In 2013, the 5th edition of the PMBOK guide was published. It added a new knowledge area, project stakeholder management, bringing the total to 10 knowledge areas, emphasized stakeholder engagement and management as crucial aspects of project success. In 2017, the 6th edition of the PMBOK guide was published, which included 5 process groups and 10 knowledge areas with an emphasis on agile and iterative practices, and a new chapter on the role of the project manager. In 2021, it marked a significant shift from a process-based to a principle-based approach, introduced 8 performance domains focused on outcomes and value delivery, emphasizing flexibility and adaptability to various project environment and methodologies. Here it is summarizing illustration of PMBOK 6 and PMBOK 7. PMBOK 6 is heavily process oriented. It outlined 49 processes, 5 process groups: initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and finally closing. And 10 knowledge areas: integration, scope, schedule, cost, quality, resources, communication, risk, procurement, and stakeholders. Out of 49, each process includes detailed inputs, tools, and techniques and outputs. We call it ITTOs. It is more suited to traditional, the waterfall project management methodology. It offers a structured step-by-step approach to project management, which is ideal for projects with well-defined scopes and requirements. Whereas PMBOK 7 shifts from a process-based approach to a principle-based approach. It introduces 12 principles of project management, which are intended to guide behavior and decision making rather than prescribe specific processes. Instead of the 49 processes here, PMBOK 7 outlines 8 performance domains: stakeholder, team, development approach and life cycle, planning, project work, delivery, measurement, and uncertainty. These domains are areas of focus that need to be addressed continually throughout the project. The focus is on delivering value. It emphasizes outcomes, adaptability, and flexibility, making it more applicable to agile and hybrid methodologies. PMBOK 7 encourages tailoring project management practices. Here, tailoring project management practices to the specific context and needs of the project rather than applying a one-size-fits-all approach, which was in 6th edition. But it doesn't mean that PMBOK 6 is obsolete or out of picture. It's still relevant, particularly for professionals working on predictive, waterfall, and hybrid projects. It provides a detailed framework with specific processes, tools, techniques, inputs, and outputs that are crucial for managing such projects. Interrelationship of needs assessment and business document project documents. So if you see this figure, it's clearly divided into two sections. One section is pre-project work and the second section from this point up to here. Within the project life cycle, whatever is done is called project work, and before that is pre-project work. So the pre-project work, we can see this business case and benefit management plan. These are the two documents which are known as a business documents for this particular project. And the documents generated during the project life cycle are called the project documents. So all the documents are interrelated. To generate any document, we need input from the previous document. Like we carried out the needs assessment, detailed need assessment. So we generated the report. So that will be the input for creating the business case and benefit management plan. And similarly for the project charter, the input will be the business case and benefit management plan. And in the next phase, while creating the project management plan, so the project charter and all these documents will be work as a input. So these all documents are interrelated. Let's go through this flow chart which is showing the project journey. So the first step in project journey is project stimulus or project trigger, which is an event, condition, or need that initiates the consideration of a new project. Just assume, suppose the government announces funding and incentives for setting up a renewable energy power plant project of 20 megawatt capacity. to achieve its sustainability targets. So, for the companies who are in the power and energy sector and in a project, for them, this is a project trigger or project stimulus. So, the next step would be needs assessment. To identify and evaluate the needs and requirements the project must address. So, the company's business team under business analyst, they will do the detailed assessment. They will find out the current and future power demand in that particular locality. They will evaluate different renewable sources such as solar power, wind power, hydro turbine, and what will be their impact on the environment and what would be the effective reduction in carbon emissions. The team will review local, state, and central regulations related to the setting up of renewable energy projects or running of the renewable energy project. They will assess the technical feasibility like site suitability, engineering, technology requirement, and financial feasibility like cost estimates from where the company will get the fund for each and every options which they explore like solar, wind, and hydro turbine. Finally, the team will come up with a compiled report, a summarized report of the needs assessment, which will identify the viable project options. So the next step is the project selection. To choose the most suitable project option from the shortlist identified during the needs assessment. So now team will evaluate detailed proposals for each shortlisted option. So we had three options here: solar power plant, wind power plant, and the hydro turbine. So cost benefit analysis will be conducted, the initial investment, operational cost, what will be the expected savings, and what will be the environmental benefits of each options. These all things will be compared. It will be ensured that whatever project we are selecting or going for should be aligned with the organization's and government's strategic goals. Let's suppose the team has decided to proceed with the 20 megawatt solar power plant based on their comprehensive analysis and strategic fit. So then team will move to the next step. So the next step is creating the business document to create the business case and benefit management plan. Business case is nothing but a compiled document, official document, which justifies starting a project by analyzing the problem or opportunity. Basically, this is the summary, whatever we are getting after our need assessment. So it will outline the benefits, cost, risks, and it will recommend the best solution. Like we opted for the solar power plant. So the business case, this business case we just talked about, this business case is a project business document that will be used throughout the project life cycle. So it will contain the executive summary, like in our project, the project aims to install a 20 megawatt solar power plant. Then the problem statement would be increasing energy demand and the regulatory pressure to reduce the carbon emissions. And it will have the all detailed cost benefit analysis, financial projections showing a strong return on investment from the solar power plant, and risk, what kind of risk can occur and what will be the mitigation strategy. So this business case will contain all these information. So then next is the benefit management plan. So benefit management plan explain how and when a project's benefit will be delivered and how we can measure those benefits. So it will contain the expected benefits like the reduced energy cost, compliance with the environmental regulations, and the timeline for realizing benefits, including the milestones like installation, when will be the installation completed, commissioning, and when the operational phase will start. And it will contain the benefit matrix, like energy output, what will be the energy output, the cost saving, and reduce in carbon emissions. So after creating these both business documents, uh, it will go to the approval of higher management and key stakeholders. Once this process is done, then the project is formally initiated with the development of the project charter. So the project charter formally authorize the project and provide the project manager with the authority to apply organizational resources to project activities. So from project charter onwards, the documents, whichever documents are created, will be called as a project documents. Next topic is interrelationship of project key components. So the key components are PLC, the project life cycle, phase gate, process groups, and knowledge areas. Particularly these three terms, PLC, phase, and phase gate, we have discussed about them in detail during our last episode, product life cycle versus project life cycle. PLC, the project life cycle, is a series of phases that a project goes through from beginning to end. So in this figure, we can see the project life cycle spans from this point up to this point, from starting the project up to ending the project. And it's a collection of the phases. A phase is a group of related activities within a project that together produce one or more deliverables. So here we can see there are 4 phases: starting the project, organizing and preparing, carrying out the work, ending the project. Phase gate. In this figure, we can see the diamond shape symbol are showing the phase gate, representing the phase gate. This is a checkpoint at the end of each phase where the project's progress is reviewed. A decision is made to either move forward, make any change, or completely stop the project. Then come to the process groups. So as defined by the PMI in the PMBOK, process groups are a set of high-level categories that organize the various processes, means 49 processes involved in a project management. So these are the 5 process groups: initiating processes, planning processes, executing processes, monitoring and controlling processes, and closing processes. Knowledge areas, 10 knowledge areas. These are 10 key areas defined by the PMI that cover different aspects of project management. They include things like time, cost, quality management, and are essential for successful project management. Okay, finally, here is the most awaited slide of this episode. Project management process group and knowledge area chart. It includes 5 process groups, 10 knowledge areas, and 49 processes. We can consider this as a comprehensive summary of PMBOK 6. It is a quick reference or snapshot which help the project managers to identify which processes are relevant at different stages of a project and within different knowledge areas. The project life cycle is managed by executing a series of project management activities which are known as project management processes. These all are the project management processes, which are 49 in total. So each process produces one or more output for which one or more input is needed with appropriate tools and techniques. In this chart, the first column contains the knowledge areas highlighted as green from top to bottom. So each row is representing the knowledge area from project integration to project stakeholder management. And if we go from left to right here, highlighted as yellow, these are the process groups: initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and controlling, and finally the closing process group. What are these numbers? These numbers are the activities carried out during each process group. So in initiation, there are 2 activities. Planning, there will be 24 activities. In execution, 10 activities. Monitoring and controlling, 12 activities. And in closing, finally, 1 activity. If we sum up all these numbers, the total will come 49. So that's how, as per PMBOK 6, there are 10 knowledge areas, 5 process groups, and 49 processes in total. So 49 activities we need to carry out to complete our project successfully. So let's go through each of the project activity in brief. The first activity is developing the project charter. We have discussed it earlier. Once the business documents are approved by higher management and key stakeholders, the project will be initiated. And in initiation process group under integration management knowledge area, the team will develop the project charter. Project charter authorizes the project and give authority to project manager to use the company resources for the project. Next activity under project stakeholder management area is to identify the stakeholders. We need to determine who the stakeholders are, both internal and external, who will be affected by or can affect the project. This will include customers, project sponsors, team members, government agencies, local community, and others. Stakeholder registered will be created, which will include the names, roles, contact information, their interest, influences. We will discuss the stakeholders in detail in our separate episode. Next activity under planning group is to develop project management plan. In this process, all the subsidiary plans like scope, cost, schedule, quality, resource, communication, risk, procurement, and stakeholder management are compiled and integrated into a cohesive project management plan. The output is the project management plan for this activity. Next, under the project scope management area, there are 4 activities: plan scope management, collect requirements, define scope, create WBS. The scope management plan will be developed. It will be decided how to prepare a detailed scope statement, and final deliverable acceptance criteria will be figured out. So what we will get from here as an output: scope management plan. Then under collect requirement process, requirements will be gathered from stakeholders through interviews, focus groups, surveys, and workshop. Then we will get the requirement documentation from this activity. Under define scope, the detailed project scope statement will be developed, and we will get the project scope statement as an output. Under create WBS activity, WBS is work breakdown structure. Project deliverables will be decomposed in smaller manageable components. So detailed WBS dictionary will be developed. Each WBS component will have clear deliverable and work packages. Next is project schedule management. Under the project schedule management, there are, we can see 5 activities: plan schedule management, define activities, sequence activities, estimate activity duration, develop schedule. In plan schedule management activity, the policies, procedures, and documentation for planning, developing, managing, executing, and controlling the project schedule will be established. The tool will be fixed up to monitor the schedule management. So we will get the output from this activity: schedule management plan. And the under define activities, the next is the define activities. The work packages will be decomposed in individual activity. So what we will get from here, activity list. We will get the detailed activity list. So after these, activities will be sequenced based on the dependencies and the network diagram will be developed. So from this activity, sequence activities, we will get the project schedule network diagram as an output. Next, the estimation will be done how long time each activity will take. So there are many methods to do the estimating as expert judgment, analogous estimating, parametric estimating, 3-point estimation, and bottom-up estimation. So we will get the duration estimate from this activity. And finally, project schedule will be developed that includes start and finish date for the project activities under this develop schedule activity. Next, under the project cost management knowledge area, there are 3 activities: plan cost management, estimate cost, and determine budget. Cost management plan will be developed, how the cost will be estimated, budgeted, managed, and monitored and controlled. So output of this activity will be cost management plan. Under the cost estimation activity, various estimating techniques, cost for labor, material, equipment, services, and facilities will be predicted. So output will be the cost estimates. Finally, under determine budget activity, all the cost estimates will be aggregated to come to the budgetary figure. So cost baseline will be created that will include authorized budget and contingency reserve. Next, under project quality management knowledge area, there is only one activity, plan quality management. So the quality requirements and standards for the project and its deliverables will be identified. Quality metrics will be defined and detailed quality management plan will be developed as an output of this activity. Next is the project resource management knowledge area. Under this, in the planning group, there are 2 activities, plan resource management and estimate activity resource. Resource management plan will be developed considering how to acquire, allocate, manage, and release the resources after work completion. So team members' roles, responsibility, and reporting will be defined. And the second process, estimate activity resources. The resources need will be determined for each activity, including person, equipment, and materials. So resource requirement list will be the output of this activity. Next, under project communication management knowledge area, there is one activity in planning group, plan communication management. In this process, an appropriate approach and plan for the project communication activities will be developed based on the information need of each stakeholder. This process is performed periodically throughout the project as needed. Next, knowledge area is risk management, and it is very crucial to the project. Under this knowledge area in planning group, there are 5 activities: plan risk management, identify risk, perform qualitative risk analysis, perform quantitative risk analysis, plan risk response. In plan risk management, project documents and plans will be reviewed. Stakeholders' risk tolerance will be assessed. Risk management methodology, role, and responsibilities will be fixed up. For the activity identify risk, brainstorming, SWOT analysis, root cause analysis will be carried out, and risk register will be created as an output of this activity. Qualitative and quantitative risk analysis will be carried out. Impact and occurring probability will be assessed for each risk. And finally, for the activity of plan risk response, strategies for the threats will be developed like escalate, avoid, transfer, mitigate, and accept. Similarly, the strategies for the opportunity will be developed as escalate, exploit, share, enhance, and accept. Risk owners will be assigned to implement responses. Contingency plans and fallback plans will be developed. Next, under the procurement management knowledge area, there is one activity under planning group is plan procurement management. All necessary details as vendor selection, type of contract, procurement matrix, various bid documents, procurement SOW means the sufficient details of the items to be procured, make or buy decision will be the part of this procurement management plan. Next, in project stakeholder management knowledge area, in planning group, there is plan stakeholder engagement activity. Approaches will be developed to involve the stakeholders based on their needs, expectation, and interest. Stakeholders' current engagement level and desired level will be defined whether they are unaware, resistant, neutral, supportive, or leading towards the project. Stakeholder engagement assessment matrix will be created. So planning group activities have ended with this activity. Next, we will move into the execution process group. In project management integration knowledge area under execution, there are two activities. Direct and manage the project work and manage project knowledge. Direct and manage the project work. This is the process of leading and performing the work which was defined in the project management plan and implementing approved changes to achieve the project's objectives. Basically, what we are doing, the project managed plan is executed in this process and project deliverable will be created. Team members and resources will be managed. We will get work performance data as an output of this process. Manage project knowledge. In this process, knowledge sharing culture will be encouraged within the project team. Lessons learned register will be updated. Next three rows, here we can see are the blank. The execution activities for scope, schedule, and cost management are integrated into the direct and manage project work process. So, which ensures the project work is performed as planned. Next is manage quality. It involves turning the quality management plan into actionable quality activities that ensures the project's processes and deliverables meet the organization's quality standards. So quality audits will be carried out to ensure that the project processes comply with organizational and project policies. Processes will be reviewed to identify inefficiencies and areas for improvement, which will ensure continuous enhancement of project processes. Next, under the project resources management, there are three activities: acquire resources, develop team, manage team. Lot of work to be done as negotiation and contracting with internal or external suppliers will happen to acquire the resources. Under develop team activity, training sessions will be conducted to enhance the team skills and competencies. Team building exercises, collocation, and reward and recognition will be introduced during this process. For managed team activity, team performance will be monitored. Issues will be identified and rectified that impact the team performance. Conflict resolution is the main task for project manager here to handle disagreements and maintain a positive team environment. Manage communication. It ensures project information is gathered, shared, and stored properly. It includes activities like sending updates to stakeholders, reporting on project progress, and engaging with stakeholders using the right communication tools and methods. By using various technologies available and feedback systems, communication will be clear and efficient. So this will keep all stakeholders informed and involved throughout the project. Next, implement risk response. It is about putting the risk management plans into action to handle the risks in project. So project manager monitors how well these plans are working. He keeps track of any changes and do the adjustment as needed. The main motto is to manage risk effectively so that the project stays on course and reaches to its goals. Next, the conduct procurement. It is the process about getting the goods and services needed for a project. So this include asking for the bids, choosing the best options, and making the contracts with the suppliers and vendors. It involves managing these contracts to make sure everything is delivered as promised during negotiation. Next, the manage stakeholder engagement. This process is about keeping stakeholders updated, handling their concerns, and making sure their expectations are realistic. It involves building good relationships with them and ensuring they stay involved and supportive throughout the project. Next, we will move into the monitoring and controlling process group. Under project integration management knowledge area, there are two activities: monitor and control project work and perform integrated change control. Monitor and control project work. This process involves tracking project performance to ensure it aligns with the plan. It identify and address if there is any deviations and update the project documents as needed. The goal is to keep the project on track and meet its objectives. Perform integrated change control. This process manages changes to the project by reviewing and evaluating change requests, assessing their impact, and updating project plans accordingly. The aim is to ensure changes are controlled, documented, and aligned with the project goals. Next, under the project scope management knowledge area, there are two activities: validate scope and control scope. The validate scope, in this process, the completed work or deliverable will be checked to ensure it is as per plan and it meets the project requirements. The formal approval from stakeholder will be taken, which means deliverables are officially accepted and meet the project standard. The control scope process involves monitoring the project's scope to ensure it stays within the planned boundaries. Means there shouldn't be any scope creep. If any change, the scope must be updated and recorded in project document. Next, under the project schedule management knowledge area, there is one activity: control schedule. In this process, project's progress will be tracked to ensure it stays on time. It includes identifying and analyzing any delays or changes, taking corrective actions to address the issues, and updating the schedule as needed. The goal is to keep the project on track for timely completion of the project. Next, under the project cost management knowledge area, there is one activity: control cost. Control cost process involves the monitoring and managing the project's budget to keep the expenses in line with the plan. It includes tracking of cost performance, analyzing any deviations, taking corrective actions, and updating the cost forecast. The goal is to ensure the project stays within its budget and addresses any financial issues effectively. Next, for the project quality management knowledge area, there is one activity here under monitoring and controlling process, name is control quality. The control quality process involves checking project deliverables to ensure they meet quality standards. This includes conducting inspections, analyzing data, and recommending improvements if needed. The aim of this process is to identify and fix any quality issues to ensure the project meets its quality requirements. Next, under the project resource management area, there is one activity, control resources. This process involves tracking the use of physical resources to ensure they are available and used as per plan. It includes identifying and addressing any shortage or issues, optimizing resource allocation, and updating the resources plan. The goal is to ensure the project has the needed resources and uses them efficiently. Next, under the project communication management knowledge area, there is one activity, monitor communication. This process involves checking how the information is being shared among project stakeholders. It includes assessing if communication is effective, fixing any issues, and updating communication plans as needed. The goal is to ensure that everyone is informed and communication supports the project success. Next, under the project risk management knowledge area, there is one activity, monitor risk. The monitor risk process involves keeping track of existing risk and their status, checking if responses are working or not, and identifying any new risk. It includes updating risk plans and documents as needed. The goal is to manage the risk effectively and ensure the project stays on course. Next, under the project procurement management knowledge area, there is one activity, control procurement. The control procurement process involves overseeing the performance of suppliers or contractors to make sure they meet their contract terms. It includes managing any issues or disputes, ensuring compliance with contract conditions, and updating the procurement documents as needed. The motto, the purpose of this activity is to ensure that everything is delivered as agreed and procurement activities go smoothly. Next, under the project stakeholder management knowledge area, there is one activity, monitor stakeholder engagement. In this process, it involves checking how well stakeholders are involved and satisfied with the project. It includes evaluating the effectiveness of communication, addressing any issues, and updating the engagement plans based on the feedback. The goal is to keep the stakeholders engaged and supportive throughout the project. Last process group is closing process group. The close project or phase process involves finalizing all project activities and deliverables to formally end the project or a project phase. It includes securing formal acceptance from stakeholders, closing and settling contracts, and conducting the final reviews to assess the project performance. This process involves archiving all relevant documents, releasing resources, and celebrating the project success. A post-project evaluation normally conducted to measure the overall success and capture lessons learned for the future projects. The goal is to ensure everything is completed, stakeholders are satisfied, and valuable insights are recorded. We have just covered an overview of the project management process groups and all 49 processes across the 10 knowledge areas from PMBOK 6. This episode might have been a bit long and maybe a little dry, but we have packed a lot of information into a single summary. I hope you found it useful and enjoyed the content. We will dive into each process in more detail in future episodes. For now, let's take a short break. Before you go, please support the channel by liking and subscribing. Your engagement means a lot to me. Namaste, goodbye, Sampai Jumpa.